Hey, it's Thursday. You've almost made it through the whole work week. Again, thanks so much for joining in on these devotionals this week. Hopefully it's been a blessing so far for you. Let's jump in. Today we're looking at 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 11 through 13. It says this: "We have spoken freely to you, Corinthians, and opened wide our hearts to you. We are not withholding our affection from you, but you are withholding yours from us. As a fair exchange, I speak as to my children. Open wide your hearts also." So, yesterday we talked about how confession, it really is the starting place to be able to approach God and to create this safe place for us, which is what the church should be. And it should help start fostering healthy and intimate community with each other. That's really where the church can help step up and be that safe place so we can be vulnerable. Well, today we take kind of a step further in that direction and say that to keep fostering that healthy, intimate, and vulnerable community, we need to listen to each other. We need to humbly submit to each other. Sometimes we even need to obey each other. We have to we have to have a willing heart to listen to each other. To listen to each other's advice when it's given in a godly manner, when it's given with wise counsel. So, in this verse, as we look, the Christians in Corinth were complaining about Paul, the Apostle Paul who wrote this, and they thought that he was trying to control them. But in fact, Paul was only giving them he was only giving them advice about what they actually really needed. He wasn't trying to control them at all. But it seemed to them that Paul was making new rules for them to follow, and nobody wants to follow new rules, right? They had obeyed, but still they were unhappy. They were kind of little kids stomping up the feet, or stomping his feet up the stairs, obeying, but not really being happy about it. Paul's reply was that he had always spoken to them in plain and sincere manner. He had not tried to hide anything from them, and they should know that he really does genuinely love him. That's what he's saying. Like, I've never hidden anything from you. You should know about my genuine love for you. This is his response. Paul was not trying to control them, but to help them. He had to advise them as he did because of his love for them. Paul was showing love towards his friends in Corinth, again, not trying to control them. However, he complained that they weren't controlling themselves. He had shown love for them, but they were not showing love to him. They weren't responding in kind to him. They should recognize Paul's love for them. They should receive it. They should receive his advice joyfully and gladly. Paul compared this situation to a father's advice to his children, right? Sometimes a father has to give advice that his children don't like. I have to give my advice, children, a lot that my children don't like, but it's good for them. Sometimes he tells them to do something, a father, that seems uncomfortable or unpleasant, but that's part about being that's being a good father, right? In our community, we need to listen and obey God first and foremost because we're his children. Paul's talking to the Corinth people like children, like you would children, and ironically, that's who we are. We're God's children. So we need to learn how to listen to obey God like children. But also, we need to be willing to hear out our brothers and sisters and listen to their advice given with the right intent, given in a godly manner. We need to be able to humble ourselves and actually listen to each other. This is why God gives organization to the church, so we can have a healthy community to be vulnerable in, to be upfront and honest with, to help us take steps towards living in him. We need to help each other do this. And this starts by confessing to each other, fostering that healthy community like we talked about yesterday, but then also moving further and actually listening to each other and being there for each other. And so I encourage you guys to think about, when's the last time you actually took godly counsel and let it move you in a good direction? You were actually open and vulnerable about something you're going through. And you were actually willing, humbly, to take godly counsel. Again, be willing to pray a prayer of confession every day this week. Spend time spend time with God in silence, and give up something and replace it with something that helps you worship. Thanks for being with us.